Alright, so here we're going to be looking at determining if a graph or a table is proportional. So two quantities are proportional if for every y value divided by the corresponding x value, you get the same value. And that value is the constant proportionality in corresponding terms in your the value that is constant for each corresponding term is your constant of proportionality. So we represent that by k. K is the constant of proportionality. And k is equal to y divided by x. So here you'll see we've got some tables. And y over here, x over here. You might see those switched. X could be over on this side of where the y is, and y might be over on the x. Just remember that to determine if they're constant, your y divided by your x, so whichever order they're in, is always going to be the same. Okay, so x is the independent variable, y is the dependent variable. In other words, y depends on what x is. Okay, so let's go and see if this is proportional. So for every y divided by x, we should get the same thing. So here we've got 5 over 1, which equals 5. 10 over 2, which equals 5. 15 over 3, which equals 5. 20 over 4 equals 5. 25 over 5 equals 5. And 30 over 6 equals 5. Okay, so for every y divided by x, we all get the same number. We get 5. Therefore, this is proportional. And our k is equal to y over x, which is the same for all of them, which equals 5. So that's what we're doing when we're dealing with proportional graphs. Okay, we're finding our k value and determining if they are proportional. If y divided by x is the same for all of them, then it's proportional. Okay, so next one, same thing. We've got 14 divided by 2 equals 7. 28 divided by 4 equals 7. 42 divided by 6 equals 7. 56 divided by 8 equals 7. 70 divided by 10 equals 7. And 84 divided by 12 equals 7. Okay, so once again, we notice that our y divided by our x all equals 7. So this would be proportional. And our k is equal to our y over x, which is equal to 7. Okay, so same thing. So now on these next two, go ahead and see if you can determine if they are proportional, and then continue watching the video. So pause it real quick, go through, see if you can determine if they're proportional, and then play the video when you're done and see if you got the same thing. Okay, so once again, you're going to take our y divided by our x. We've got mixed numbers here, so might seem a little confusing there, but we can write these as improper fractions. So we always multiply our denominator by our whole number and add our numerator. So 3 times 1 times 2 is 5 over 3. Times 2, divided by 2 is the same as multiplying by 1/2. That's going to give us 5 over 6. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4. 5 over 2 times 1/3 equals 5 over 6. So once again, when you have a fraction, you divide it by a whole number. That's the same as multiplying by that number's inverse or reciprocal, which is just that 1 over 2 flipped. So the reciprocal of 5 is 1/5, of 9 is 1/9, of 10 is 1/10, and of 11 is 1/11. So because when you multiply fractions, when you divide fractions, it's keep, change, flip. So we're going to continue that same thing. We're going to keep our first fraction. Instead of dividing by 2, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of 2, or reciprocal of 3, reciprocal of 5, and so on. So that's why you see this 1/2 and this 1/3. Okay, so continuing on, 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 is 25. 25 over 6 times the reciprocal of 5, which is 1/5. And we can just take 5 out of this, leaving us with 5 and that with 1, which equals 5/6. Let me zoom in here. Okay, so far it's looking good. Next one, 7.5. That's going to be 2 times 7, which is 14, plus 1 is 15. So 15 over 2 times 1/9. This equals 15/18, which can be simplified to 5/16. Oops, 5/6, not 16ths. Okay, so that one checks out. So far, it's all looking good. Now make sure you do everyone. You take the y divided by x for everyone, because you might have a couple that appear the same, but as you go, you'll find out that maybe one is not does not equal the same, meaning it would no longer be proportional. Okay, so 3 times 8 is going to give us 24, 25 over 3 times 1/10. 5 can go into 25, making this 5. 5 can go into 10, making that 2. So now it's just 5 times 1 and 3 times 2, which is 5/6. Okay, so once again, it's 5/6. It equals the same. Last one, 6 times 9 is 54. So 55 over 6 times 1 over 11. Okay, 11 is the greatest common factor of 55 and 11. So that becomes 1 over 1, which equals 5/6. So our x over y is always the same, so this is proportional. And our k, which equals y over x, equals 5/6. So that's what we get here for all of them. Therefore, it's proportional, and our k is just that value, y divided by x. Okay, next one. So same thing, you're going to take your y divided by x. So you've got 5 over 1, which equals 5. 9 over 2, which equals 4.5. Okay, so right here we see that these are different. Therefore, they're not proportional. It doesn't matter if any of these other ones equals 5 or 4.5. Because these two right here do not equal the same, this is not proportional. And therefore, there is no k. Okay, so when you're checking to see if they're proportional, if you come across one that is not, that just tells you the whole table is not proportional. Okay, so last thing that you'll see, so fill out the rest of the table for the proportional table. So we're told this is proportional, therefore there is a k, which equals y divided by x. And so we can find that just by taking one of these y's and dividing by x. So 4.5 divided by 1. Let me write that bigger. 4.5 divided by 1, which equals 4.5. So now that tells us that 4.5 is equal to k. And so now to find the rest of these values, well, if you take k is equal to y over x, and you'll see that we're given y, we're given x, so we want to solve for y. So to get rid of the x and y by itself, we're going to multiply both sides by x. So then we're going to be left with y equals x times k. And so now we can just plug in. So y equals, so when x is 3, we times that by 4.5. And 3 times 4.5 is equal to 12 plus 3, or 1.5 would be 13.5. So we've converted into an equation where we know our x, we know our k value, because k is y divided by x, and now we just keep plugging in for our, to find y, we plug in for our new x. So x here is 4 times 4.5. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 is going to be 18. Y equals 5 times 4.5. 5 times 4 is 20. Half of 5 is 2.5, so 22.5. And then last y equals 6 times 4.6. 4.5. So 6 times 4 is 24, plus 3 would be 27. So there we've filled out, we had to find our k first, which is our y divided by x. Then we can convert that equation right here into y is equal to x times k, or y is equal to k times x. Either one works, it's the same thing. Multiplication is commutative, meaning we can move it around. But when we're told that a table is proportional, then we can use these equations here and here to finish filling out the table. All right, so the big takeaway with determining if tables are proportional, when you divide each y by its corresponding x, you should get the same value. If you do, it's proportional, and that value is your k. If you get one that is not the same, then you can note right then that it is not proportional.